Very good evening to you, dear viewer, from wherever you're watching us from on MBCI TV, your favorite channel. And this is a program, Ask the Ministers of God, a program that gives you an opportunity to interact with the servants of God on several pertinent issues concerning your Christian life and also as a human being. And tonight we prepared for you a very captivating topic on Christian perspective or Christian perception on failure. And I have servants of God tonight joining us to make sense out of this particular topic. I have on board Apostle Gichimu. Thank you so much. He's our resident minister on this particular program. It's a pleasure to have you tonight.
Thank you, Mangicho, and thank you, our viewer. Welcome to this program.
Karibu sana, also a pleasure. And also we are having Reverend Perez Ngari from Full Gospel Churches of Kenya. Thank you so much, mtumishi. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can also join us, our dear viewer, on our Facebook platform by going to MBCI TV. And definitely we are going to appreciate your input in our discussion tonight. And when you talk about failure, Pastor Gichimu, somebody would want to find out, is it good or bad to fail? Or actually, even maybe first of all, we look at what is to fail?
Well, I would say, when you say somebody has failed or when you feel you have failed yourself, is when you had, a certain objective that you wanted to meet. So when you don't meet it, then of course you consider yourself a failure. Maybe an exam. Probably we have all gone through exams, and through these exams, there is the required level that you are required to reach. You don't reach it, so you cannot go to high school, you cannot go to university, so you have failed. But let me say this, Mangicho, that is humans' way of looking at failure. When God looks at us, God sees us people that He created with the capacity to succeed and not to fail. And therefore, personally also, I have learned something that I always share and tell people. If I did not make it, it means I have another chance to try it again. And probably if that is not the way that God wants me to do, then I have to go on my knees and ask God, where and what am I supposed to do? Because sometimes you may be talking failure, you are trying business and the business is failing, or you are trying this and the other one is failing. It's simply because you have not discovered what is your purpose as God brought you into this world. Yes. So there are different ways. As Christians, we should view this thing of failure from a godly point of view, and we cannot go wrong when we view it that way.
Yes, Apostle. You brought it in a very powerful way, even as we start, Reverend Ngari. It's very, very important, even as we discuss failure, first of all, to appreciate that there is a way in which maybe God would look at this, which is different from how maybe human beings would want to perceive it.
Yeah, that's very true. And really, I like that aspect, that there is a way God looks at us and the way God looks at failure. One thing that I want to point out is that human beings are very discouraged by failure. If there is something that can water down somebody and remove all the energy that he had to go on, is failure. Because failure makes somebody feel that they cannot continue, they can't go on. It also dehumanizes that person. He just feels, I am not a man, or I'm not a woman anymore because of what I did. And so because of that, and also other people would look at you as a failure, there's going to be a stigma of some kind. So for a Christian, it's very important for us to look at it keenly so that we do not incapacitate people, or people make themselves incapacitated because of the perspective they have on themselves as failure.
Wow. Absolutely awesome there, Apostle Gichimu. Picking up from where Reverend Ngari has actually left, when you describe it, and maybe when you want to look at it, because we believe that we've been created in the image of God, and at no point do you find somewhere where God maybe failed in any in any aspect. Therefore, maybe when a Christian does something or finds themselves doing something, and maybe they are not in a position to meet the target that maybe they wanted to meet, how should they look at it?
I would say this, Mangicho. We need to really look exactly what we are capable of doing in consultation with God, because God speaks. If you listen to God, God speaks, and speaks very clearly as to what He brought you into this world to do. And there are many testimonies of people who ordered trying this, trying the other, and then considering themselves as failures. But then when they struck the note on which God really put them on, they succeed. And then when they succeed, their whole story, changes. Nevertheless, you can also be on a certain line and you fail a number of times. And I remember there is this man who invented a type of oil, penetrating oil, that you can be able to remove a nut which is very rusty, called WD-40. This person calls it WD-40 because he tried 40 and then the 40th time is when he succeeded. And then I don't think even the man is alive today. But this is the product that he invented for us. Wow. We are actually using it. That's why I said in the beginning that you can try something, and when you try and you don't succeed, and you fully feel that this is the line that God has put me in, you can try a number of times. And people have tried, the same thing a number of times, failing. Sure. They try again, but they don't give up. They keep on trying until eventually they succeed.
And that also means also that it does not really mean that maybe when you do something, or maybe when you want to accomplish something, but you've not accomplished it, that maybe you're a failure, or you're a loser, or therefore that maybe you're, for lack of a better word, useless.
No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. And people also have to know that God is also a God of a second chance. There are some people who are backslid, but they try the Lord again, and they succeed. Now, you may try to do something, and when you try to do what you are doing, and probably you have a revelation that this is what God created you for. If you fail a second time, it's not a big deal. It shows there is a second time. If you fail a second time, there is also a third time, even a fourth time, even a fifth time, even a seventh time. And eventually, you will succeed. And I can tell you, I have also seen people who try the same thing. And when you talk to the person, you can see that the person tells you, yes, I tried it. I've been trying it now for the last 10 years. And it doesn't seem to succeed. And then you ask the person, why don't you try something different? No, I'm not going to try something different. They still believe that's where they are. And I want to tell you, those people eventually, they succeed. Even the rich people, some of the rich people you have today, if they tell you the things they have gone through, they would have given up, but they never gave up. And I try business haifanyi, and try haifanyi, until he strikes where he has been wired for, and then he excels. So failure, in essence, doesn't mean somebody is useless. And I don't like the way we grade our children in this country. I want to be honest with that. Because if one child gets A's, and another one, what is the last grade these days? Is it E? E. And another one gets E. The one who gets E is actually graded as useless. And the one who gets A is graded as A. But maybe this one who got here, this is the best mechanic. This is the best mason. This is the best, artist who can draw you as you look, Mangicho, and then when you look at yourself, you wonder, what is this on earth? This kind of grading, actually, it demoralizes. It makes people feel, I'm good for nothing if I cannot make an A. Who told you? Maybe that is not your line. Because in fact, even some of the people that get those A's when they go and leave university, very few of them remain in their professions. Yes. We have doctors who are politicians today, engineers who are politicians today. So they are not even doing the engineering work. The engineering process. Yes.
Maybe that is what CBC is coming to fix Apostle.
I would like to believe so. Yeah. In a way, I would like to believe so. That if they can be able to identify what a child is supposed to do. In fact, if you look countries like America, for example, they have a very good education system, whereby at very early stage they are able to identify the gifts of the children, and then those children are actually developed on those areas. And when they become grown-ups, they stick to their careers, and then they move on life. And nobody considers himself more superior to the other.
Very true. Just before we go to the break, let me also bring Reverend Ngari on this, because as we know, the Word of God tells us that God knew us even before we were formed in our mother's womb, and had already appointed us. So it's very, very important, even from the early stage, for people to be able to know what God created them to be. God has a reason for each and every particular individual.
That's true. And I just wanted to add something. Somebody posted something in the internet when the exams, I can't remember whether it's the O levels, because there were those who got A's and so on, and the kind of courses we were going to do. So that person put something, and he said, these fellows who have been left behind with D's and E's, watch. These are the guys who are going to be in parliament and pass laws for us. They are the ones who will be doing business for us. They're the ones who will be making our houses. They're the ones who will be... But the others who have the A's and so on, they may not have a lot of control on us. So it's true what Apostle is saying. Really, the perception of failure needs to be looked at differently. Now, coming to what you've said, I wonder, I just love the way God looks at failure. At one time Moses was telling God, you have failed. You are going to fail. If you don't take these people where you said you take them, then you will have failed. These are my words. And, God cannot fail. But Moses was looking at, because God had said, I'm going to finish these people, and I'm going to make a generation from you, and then take you to Canaan as I promised. God actually took people to Canaan. There are those who God finished because they rebelled, but he never failed. He took them. If you look at Jesus, there were those gentlemen who was going to Emmaus, and they were talking to one another. And they were literally looking at Jesus as a failure. They were saying, we thought this man is the one who is going to save Israel. But now where is he? He's no longer there. So they looked at the whole thing and were saying, here is a big failure. We thought this man is going to accomplish much. But Jesus never failed. He died, he rose again. The devil thought he had his day, but Jesus rose with power and authority. Amen. So failure, in God's eyes, needs to be looked at very, very differently.
Very differently.
And remember, Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord.
To them that love the Lord, all things worketh for good. And we want to take a short break on this particular point. Wow, what a captivating discussion tonight. Maybe you've been a victim of failure and you've been wondering, where do you pick up from? We are telling you that God is looking at this particular subject in a very different way. Maybe people have written you off, your family has written you off, your friends, your neighbors. You still have a chance in God's eyes. Helping us to look at this particular topic is Apostle Gichimu and also Reverend Perez Ngari. We are coming back after this short break.